so I'm just kind of winging it here, but we've got some. I'm going to be taking the back off of this to replace off of this Maytag 3000 series dryer to replace the idler wheel pulley. I've started by unplugging it. You can see it has been unplugged. Next step is I'm going to take the dryer hose off and get that out of the way. And then I'm going to start by taking out some screws. We got some going all the way down and across the bottom on each side. I'm going to take those out and see if I can get the back to come off. I think after taking this screw and this screw out, the top will just lift off and I can set that off to the side. So I'll go start working on that and then come back with what I came up with. All right, looks like after I got the lid off, I got one here, I got one here, and I got one here as well. So I'm gonna take those out and proceed with the sides, the screws on the sides. And it looks like we got one more hidden right down here by where the dryer hose is. Okay, I think it's gonna make it a lot easier to take that out as well. So I can lift this up and out of the way and then disconnect this. There's a small screw on the other side of this. If I take that out, I can just lift this whole thing. I can disconnect this right here, and that will allow me to take all the wiring back with the back piece that I'm going to be taking off, so that I'm not having to vicariously balance it. So I'm working on doing that now. Okay, I was having a little bit of struggle, so I just popped out these three. I'm trying to get this one to unclip, but I'm having a hell of a time doing that. So I'm going to see if I can just work around that. My main goal is to get this back panel off so that I can get easy access to where I am hoping my existing idler wheel will look like this piece. I got this at my local appliance store. It matched up with my model number of my dryer, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to open it until I have confirmed that it looks like that one, but I need to get this panel off first, so here I go. Okay, see what I did was I ended up taking this, disconnecting it, and using a very small flathead screwdriver to pry that connection off. And I'm just leaving this sitting up here on top. I was also able to pop out the fasteners here, and over here, which kind of look like these guys right here. Just took a pair of pliers and squeezed them on one side and popped them through, and that allowed me to bring this over here and just set this back panel to the side. So here's what we're looking at in here. There is the idler wheel and the pulley. It's a little dusty in there as expected, so I'm gonna do a little bit of vacuuming to clean some of that up, and then I'm going to take a stab at replacing that. Doesn't look like it's very difficult. It's just got a bolt right there. I've seen some people do it online, so I'm just going to clean this up. I'm going to take this bolt out. I'm going to take the belt off of the pulley and off of the motor, and then I'm going to basically reverse those steps to put the new one back on. That does look quite a bit like the new one that I bought. I'll hold it up for comparison here once I turn this video off, and we'll see what happens. Okay. Alright, so here's the new one. Comparing that with the old one. Looks like, can't really tell from this, but it's looking pretty damn close to me. So I'm going to go ahead and open the package. And like I said before, I'm going to remove the belt just by releasing the tension on this spring a little bit. Remove the belt from the idler pulley wheel. Remove it from, actually just kind of loop it off of the idler pulley wheel. Take that bolt off, and then I will put the new one back on and fasten the bolt and loop the belt back onto the new idler pulley wheel, and then attach the spring. And I'll start this back up once I have that done and mention if I have any problems. Alright, here's the old one. You can see it's just pretty old and beat up. Very squeaky. I was spraying it with WD-40 about every 5 cycles, and it would stop squeaking for a few minutes, or during those 5 cycles, and then it would just start right back up. So that's what prompted me to go and do this. So you can see here, the belt is off, it's kind of hanging down. There's the spring. It's just a bolt and a washer that needs to go back in. There is an emergency switch, emergency shutoff switch right here. And that should, if the belt were to break, the idler pulley would fall down and land here, and it would shut the dryer off so that it didn't continue drying without turning the drum. So I'm just going to take the new one, I'm going to pop it in there, I'm going to loop the belt back on it, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I've got the new one in there. It's looped around the motor, and then it's looped around the idler wheel, and I am manually moving this. Trying not to pinch myself, but you can see it's moving. It's around the barrel in the groove here. It's hard to see, but there, it's in the groove all the way around. So I think all I had to do was put this bolt in, and then actually I attached the spring first, and then that gave me enough leverage to pull the spring to stretch it enough to where I could put this in. I tried to put the bolt in first, and I couldn't stretch the string, the spring wide enough to hook it on. So I hooked it on first, and then I attached it, and then I just looped the belt back in. And at this point, I just need to put everything back together. So I'm going to reattach all the electronic fittings that I disassembled up here back on the board. I'm going to put the fasteners back in and attach that piece with the electronics board on it, attach that back to the frame, and then essentially just screw everything back together, and we'll see what happens at the end. Okay, I've got everything put back together. I've got the hose put back, attached back. I forgot to plug the damn thing back in, so I'll go ahead and squeeze back here again and plug that back in. Alright, let's plug back in now. I have already tested this before I put everything back together with all the screws, just to make sure I wasn't going to lose it if it wasn't working correctly. But we can see it's currently empty. I'll turn it on, I'll just set it on the time dry. Put it down to 1 minute. I'll just let it run. No squeaks. The drum inside is turning. Everything is looking good. So we'll consider that a success. I am definitely a novice at doing this type of stuff, but I watched a few videos to get some general ideas on how this thing worked and what could be causing the squeak. This particular thing, because I was able to spray WD-40 on it via this panel right here, just by taking that off with 4 screws at the bottom, taking that off, I was able to spray WD-40 on the wheel and allow it to stop squeaking for a small period of time. That helped me to know that it was definitely that wheel that was the troublemaker. And so I just moved forward with getting the replacement part. I got that at a local appliance repair place, just a locally owned place. And I just brought the model number of the dryer with me, and they were able to provide it to me. It cost me 25 bucks. I can get it, I think I can get the same one on Amazon for probably 10 to 12 bucks, but I decided I'd rather support the local company instead, even though it cost almost twice as much. Maybe I'll think differently next time, but happy with the quality of the part. And just to show you what that packaging looks like, this is factory certified parts for Whirlpool and the like, I guess, because this is a Maytag. I think Maytag may be owned by Whirlpool, but easy enough project. As a novice, it took me about an hour grand total. And that's figuring out how to take the thing apart and how to get to it in the back and cleaning it up and putting it all back together and everything. So about an hour's time. All I used was a small flathead screwdriver from here, just to get the help me get one of the clips, the electrical clips undone. I used one of these for the tabs to release the tabs that were holding the wiring, and then I just have this cheap set that I bought a long time ago. I used one of these this little socket screwdrivers to take every single one of the screws out, and it fitted perfectly without needing any additional bits. So minor tools, minor time, minor funds, and we're back in business.